Welcome to the boardroom. I'm your managing director for today's session, and we have a highly critical, absolutely non-negotiable agenda on the table right now. Today, we are conducting a C-suite grade proposal audit, and we are specifically targeting one of the most notoriously misunderstood, high-risk areas in the entire Cambridge AS and A-Level Mathematics 9709 syllabus. I'm talking about Section 2.5, Integration Using Trigonometric Identities. Now, I want you to think of your exam paper as a high-stakes corporate proposal you're pitching to the board. Every single line of working you put down is an asset, and every misstep, every dropped symbol is a massive vulnerability that will cost you capital. Joining us conceptually in this audit are our two junior associates, Alex and Sam. Now, we are going to track their work on our Executive Value Meter, a real-time indicator that scales all the way from a Band 5 zero value rejection straight up to a maximum value A-star elite valuation. So let's dive into this and see if we can engineer a flawless pitch to the toughest, most unforgiving board of directors out there, the Cambridge examiners.
So, I have to ask you, is your integration proposal a liability right now? What's really fascinating here is how perfectly this frames the exact problem examiners highlight year after year. Integration using trigonometric identities isn't just about crunching a few numbers, it is a high-stakes market opportunity. When you're faced with integrating something like sine squared x or cosine cubed x, you're looking at a complex, multi-stage analysis scenario. If you attempt to integrate these directly, if you just try to power through without substituting the correct trigonometric identity first, you aren't just making a minor mathematical error. In this boardroom, you are committing corporate negligence. Missing these foundational conversion steps equals instantly lost capital. The board rejects your pitch, and your valuation plummets. Our objective today is absolutely crucial. We are going to ensure your mathematical portfolio is completely bulletproof, eliminating these vulnerabilities and maximizing your return on investment for every single mark available on that paper.
Here is exactly how today's audit strategy is going to play out. First, the boardroom briefing. Second, deconstructing the liability. Third, the consultant co-op debate. Fourth, our valuation reboot and feed calibration. Fifth, the live compliance audit. And finally, number 6, securing the deal.
Let's get right into Section 1, the boardroom briefing, defining the market.
Okay, we need to translate the Cambridge assessment objectives into our boardroom equivalents so you understand exactly what the stakeholders are demanding from you. Top-performing students don't just memorize, they exhibit a connected, conceptual understanding to secure those elite valuations. Let's look at AO1, knowledge and understanding. In our corporate world, that is your asset backing. Do you have precise definitions on hand? Do you immediately, without hesitation, recall that cosine 2x equals 1 minus 2 sine squared x? That's your capital. Then we have AO2, application, which we call execution. Can you rapidly rearrange that identity, make cross-topic connections, and execute the substitution flawlessly into the integral? And finally, AO3, analysis and evaluation, representing your structural reasoning. This is where top-scoring candidates really demonstrate evaluative thinking, like perfectly adjusting your definite integral limits if you're using a substitution method, alongside those trig identities. You literally need all 3 of these columns fully optimized to secure the deal.
Moving on to Section 2, deconstructing a liability proposal. The audit begins.
To really understand what failure looks like, we have to deconstruct a high-tariff pass paper question. Let's say the board asks for the exact value of the integral of sine squared x from 0 to pi over 4. Now, a low-value response, like the one initially drafted by our junior associate Alex, provides rushed math and completely fails to evaluate the actual mechanics of the problem. Alex literally tries to integrate sine squared x by just increasing the power to a 3 and dividing by 3, treating a complex trig function like it's a basic algebraic polynomial. There's absolutely zero trigonometric identity conversion shown. The result? Immediate compliance failure and a valuation drop straight to 0. There's no coming back from that. Conversely, take a look at the high-value executive pitch. This candidate explicitly states the identity before any integration takes place. Sine squared x equals 1/2 minus 1/2 cosine 2x. They execute with crystal clear notation, ensuring the integral sign and that all important dx are present on every single line until the integration actually occurs. By detailing the step-by-step procedural framework, this substitution secures maximum asset backing.
I want you to read this. This is the ultimate corporate safety net directly from the regulator, the principal examiner. Students lose marks by not showing working. Even if your final answer is wrong, method marks can save you. I need you to internalize this directive right now. In the business of Cambridge mathematics, the final answer is only a fraction of the deal. Method marks are awarded for your process. If you explicitly show your trigonometric identity substitution, but then, maybe you make a slight, silly arithmetic error in your final fraction calculation at the very end, guess what? You still retain the vast majority of your capital because your analytical framework was sound. Never, ever skip steps. Your working out is your audit trail. Protect it.
All right, Section 3, the consultant co-op debate, structuring the pitch.
Let's go backstage for a minute. Our two associates, Alex and Sam, are currently trying to merge their respective strengths to create the ultimate joint venture answer for a really complex question involving integrating tangent squared x. Alex, who focuses heavily on raw data, wants to overload the opening response with technical dictionary definitions. Alex is trying to list every single secant and tangent identity known to man before even starting the math problem. It's too much clutter. But Sam, on the other hand, argues for a highly streamlined analytical counter-argument framework. Sam is pushing to just quickly state that tangent squared x equals secant squared x minus 1 and then execute the integration immediately, since we all know secant squared is a standard integral. Sam is fighting to accumulate marks efficiently, but completely lacks the rigorous step-by-step notation that Alex champions. Do you see the problem? To maximize the return on investment and satisfy Cambridge's strict constraints, a flawless proposal needs Alex's explicit, careful notation combined seamlessly with Sam's efficient analytical pathway. You need both to survive the audit.
Section 4, Mid-Pitch Valuation, Reboot, and Feed Calibration. Now, before we step in and resolve this structural roadblock to help them secure a top-band valuation, I need to make sure your personal academic assets are properly managed. To consistently turn your academic weaknesses into high-yield, bulletproof pitches, you need to subscribe to Ace the Exams right now and turn on all notifications. Whether your focus is Cambridge IGCSE, O-levels, AS, or A-levels, this channel is your weekly board seat to secure elite grades. Okay, let's get back to the audit and fix this pitch.
To successfully merge Alex's data-heavy approach with Sam's rapid strategy, we are going to implement a bulletproof 5-step technical methodology template. Think of this as your standard operating procedure for mathematics. Step 1. Deconstruct the question. What are the command words? Is the board asking you to show that, evaluate, or find the exact value? Step 2. Extract relevant data. What are your upper and lower limits? What is the specific function you're targeting? Step 3. Select the analytical framework. For something like tangent squared x, the correct framework is immediately deploying the Pythagorean identity. Step 4. Execute with clear notation. Keep those integral signs locked in, keep the dx on the ledger, and align your equal signs vertically to demonstrate systematic, logical processing. Step 5. Present with correct terminology. Evaluate the performance at the upper and lower limits very carefully and present your final calculation with absolute clarity. I promise you, following these 5 steps out loud, line by line, transforms scattered, panicked math into a highly structured A-star asset.
Welcome to Section 5, the live interactive compliance audit.
The magic number you need to extract from the data today is 3. 3. These are the top 3 critical vulnerabilities, the absolute most common mistakes identified directly from the principal examiner reports when it comes to integration using trigonometric identities. If you can anticipate these points of failure in a rapid-fire mental check before you write, you can engineer the success. Let's break them down.
Let's isolate these 3 exploits that will bring a candidate's score crashing down to the basement. Number 1. Confusing cause and effect. In trigonometric integration, examiners report that students constantly, year after year, confuse differentiation rules with integration rules. For example, they'll be integrating cosine x and getting positive sine x, which is correct, but then they panic and incorrectly add a negative sign because their brain suddenly defaults to differentiation rules. That is a catastrophic failure in logic. Number 2, forgetting to check format and presentation. This means casually dropping the dx during your substitution lines or completely forgetting the constant of integration, the plus c, for indefinite integrals. Poor presentation loses you method marks instantly. It's like submitting a financial report with no currency symbols. Number 3, answers not specific to the context given. If the question explicitly asks for exact values and you provide a rounded, messy decimal from your calculator, you have failed to satisfy the explicit constraints of the Cambridge command word. If the limits are in radians and your calculator is accidentally sitting in degrees, your entire context is misaligned and your proposal is dead on arrival.
Finally, Section 6. The securing of the deal and outro.
We have successfully audited the errors, we've structured the pitch, and our two associates have now presented a flawless response paragraph. They explicitly defined their trig identities right out of the gate, they applied rigorous step-by-step notation, and they evaluated their limits with absolute precision. Because of this, our executive value meter has officially hit the maximum A-star mark. Now, to replicate this success on your own paper, I need you to distill this entire session into 3 core corporate pillars. Slice 1 is the due diligence scan, decoding the question and planning your trigonometric substitution in your head before writing a single number. Slice 2 is the resource allocation matrix. This is your timing. Do not burn 20 minutes on a 3-mark question, and absolutely do not rush a 7-mark multi-stage integration. Slice 3 is the final compliance audit. This is your internal review checklist before you hand that paper over to the examiner.
Let's run that rapid-fire audit checklist one last time. Apply correct formats. Are your integral signs and your dx present on every line? Use appropriate terminology. Have you used the correct trig identity, or did you guess? Evaluate performance. Did you carefully calculate the upper limit minus the lower limit without a sign error? Confirm explicit context. Check your calculator right now. Are you in radians, and are you providing exact values as requested? And finally, the golden rule of the boardroom. Ensure all working as shown. Let your step-by-step analytical reasoning secure your method marks. If you tick all these boxes, you are finally ready for submission.
We have officially closed the deal today, but remember, the market is always moving. I want you to commit your goals to the public record right now by dropping a comment below stating your target grade, your qualification tier, and your subject. Remember, an elite grade isn't an accident, and it certainly isn't luck. It's the direct result of structured reasoning, flawless execution, and a relentless commitment to rigorous methodology. So what is your academic portfolio really worth? We'll find out in the next masterclass. Make sure you're subscribed and have the notification bell ringing so you don't miss your seat at the table. Meeting adjourned.